They went back about 15, 20 years, but it's pretty much the neuroscience, the psychologist, the anthropologist, it's all been for the last 10 years. The missing link that I see more than anything else is you'll have some PE teachers who understand the need that why I'm a PE teacher, it's not to play team sports. It's to prepare kids to learn and make them healthier at the same time. And we're missing researchers to work with PE teachers, to work with classroom teachers, to work with parents, and to work with students, as opposed to working against each other, realizing that taking time away from just sit and I just say my spelling words, or sit and I do my math facts, doesn't mean I'm going to be better at spelling, I'm going to get better at my math facts. Actually getting up and priming the brain, or actually doing the exercise with the brain. So if I'm touching my knee and I'm doing multiples, 2, 4, 6, so crossing the midline, hits different hemispheres of my brains. That's been around. What hasn't been around is, does every teacher read neuroscience magazines? Does every teacher read psychology magazines? Does every teacher read anthropology? Do those professors come and talk to the teachers? Some do, not many. And so it's really getting those larger community people together so that we can move and have true, in my opinion, true education reform. The biggest reason why I do this is I want the kids to have a good time. Exercise can be fun. I tell my students, it is work. I am working. I'm exerting energy. But when it's fun, I'm not thinking about how hard I'm working. And so that's the most important part for the kids, is to realize that having fun, I don't have to think about working out. Does that mean I might not work them in situations where they're like, I don't really like this? No, that's okay. You don't have to like everything. But they have to understand that why I'm doing this, and that is to prepare my brain to learn, and at the same point create an environment where it's lots of fun. The one thing that happens a lot as PE teachers is that people think, oh, you just play games and all the kids are doing is having fun. And I'm like, yes, I do that. Kids have fun in my room. They love it. But I'm also building brain cells that you can fill. And then if we can make that connection and everybody understands that, then students are going to move more. Teachers are going to want them to move more. And that's the part that's missing. It's okay to have fun in school. It's okay to have fun at my job. There's nothing wrong with exercising at my job. There's no reason exercising at home. There's no reason to exercise at school, not to exercise at school. We just got to make it more fun for the kids and for everybody else. So the main part about this is that there are PE teachers that teach team sports. I teach team sports, but it's how you teach the team sports that's different in my world compared to some other PE teachers' worlds. One of the things that I like to try to change in my PE world is bringing my PE world out to the student's environment and putting it on a student level, giving something that the student can do. When we look at some ways that PE might be taught in the past where it's outside and not in the classroom, or it's not individual-based, this is individual-based, it's fitness-based, it's personal health and wellness, it's empowering the student to come up with ideas that they like to do to move, so that we have students in this school that actually ask for birthday presents to buy a stability ball to bring into the classroom. I don't tell them that. That's what they want, because it's all on to them. The most important thing about PE is to realize once you leave an environment that says you must go to PE class, it's on them to be fit. So I try to create the environment where they have exposed to different ideas so that they can be fit on their own and they're doing activities that they like to do. One of the things that we realize is that we sit. So when we sit so much, we get lazy. And so when we sit down, this is what I do. I hunch over. When I'm on a stability ball, I can feel that part, and I have to actually then roll my hips back up and be engaged. And so that helps me to keep my body in alignment. The other thing about keeping my body in alignment and keeping my core muscle strengths inside is if you talk to any musician who wants to sing, I want to be upright so I get as much air as I can for my vocal cords. Same thing with playing the piano. Well, one of the reasons we yawn anytime is because we're bored, not getting enough. That's what most people say. But the reality of the truth is that when I'm breathing in less oxygen, I yawn. It's a natural reaction to get more oxygen to my brain so that I can survive. It's a survival mechanism. So when I'm sitting upright on a stability ball, then I'm breathing in more. My lungs are open and I'm more alert. Anything that you do in life, I've realized you can always find the other side, someone who's against it. The nice thing that we do here is not every student has to have a stability ball. Not every student has to use the rail yard. Not every student has to exercise. It goes back to my question about how's my PE different. I try to give kids options so that they keep moving. And that's the key part, is that if you don't want that stability ball for that student, or for that as parent feels it's unsafe, that's okay. If you don't want the student on the rail yard, that's okay. But I have to get to a point to tell that student and parent, you have to move. It's built into our DNA. And so I want to make sure that I, as a student, move. So whatever negative they get out of it, I try to put a spin and find any positive that we can have to keep them moving. That's the reason that I'm here today. Is I was awarded the White House Champion of Change Award in March, and it was through the Let's Move campaign from the First Lady. And I'm trying to go out there and let all the parents know that there are options to change your classroom environment. Be aware of them. Their kids could just be standing at their desk and doing jumping jacks. They could be using WIT fit balls. They could be using the rail yard. They could use exercise bands. My goal is to expose the parents to say, if you want this for your child, work with your classroom teacher. Work with your principal, because that's what teachers want. That's what administrators want. They want supportive parents. And so find those teachers who are supportive for this and say, I support this with you. How can I help move this forward? That's really the key. It's talking to your classroom teacher and saying, I want this for my son or daughter. How can I help you create this environment? And that's why I'm here today, to show the different types of things. What I do here is only a fragment of what probably happens around the United States. But I'm trying to expose more people to the idea that we can move at school and it doesn't have to just be in PE class. To me, whatever you're able to do is the most important part. If that means that all I'm doing is, so when my kids exercise in the morning, everybody can take time, if they understand the science behind kids running or walking, everybody has a space, whether it's the hallway, whether it's the parking lot, everybody has a space. So you can take the time as a classroom teacher. You could take the time as 4 classroom teachers. So if I have 4 classroom teachers in 3rd grade, all of us could go out together. 2 of us could go out together. You know, it could be where, go back to the parents. We actually have parents here who have trained our staff after school so that our staff then can be better physically fit. So really, the most important part is to realize no matter how big or small you are, is starting somewhere. The key part is to actually start. Once you get started, when I exercise, the hardest part, people always complain, I don't have the time, I don't have this, they have excuses. But once you get started, that's the hardest part, is getting over that hurdle. So my clue to that is find somebody, find one student, find a couple students, find one class, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be the whole school. When we started out here with Stability Balls 5 years ago, we just had 2 classrooms, and that's it. Then we had an AP report come out, we got on the newscast, and then the other teachers started realizing, wow, I believe in this. I see the excitement about this. I understand the research about it. And that's where my next step here is, you have to get everybody on board, you have to support them at the pace that they're ready, and you have to give them the research behind it. And even though it could just be fun, and how does it work once it's integrated in, is the support system. So I went to Penn State and then UNC for my Penn State undergraduate, UNC for my master's, and so I'm an expert in movement. My master's degree is in exercise science and master's of arts of teaching PE, but the classroom teacher doesn't have that degree. So my goal is to support them, so when I come into their environment, I will reteach the students. So I will teach the students a new exercise with the equipment they have in the room or with just their bodies. And that's how we keep it rolling, literally, is making sure that my teachers have something very simple to do as a brain break, and then I come in, and if I do the same thing every day, I get bored. So my job is to spice up the life and come back into the classroom and show that teacher that extension. And then hopefully down the road is every teacher has great ideas. It's for them to start thinking about other ideas, students start thinking about other ideas, and then my job is just to say, is this safe or not for the environment that we're in? And then they can roll with it with themselves and exercise. Well, the most important part about a brain break, lots of different people call it different things, but the main thing is that after I sit, so if I'm sitting here for more than 20 minutes, the chemistry in my brain changes. And so then my body feels and my brain thinks it's falling asleep. So I want to spark in my neurons. And so if I sit here so long, all the blood's flowing down here into my glutes, and my brain chemistry now has changed. So getting up engages my brain, it engages my hippocampus. We talked about, a lot of people don't know that you can actually exercise and grow brain cells, and that's the whole point and part of my job. My job is to prepare those teachers with neurons that are firing so they can fill them with information. But the key part here is that sometimes we forget. I get fouled in basketball and I'm really mad, I'm really upset. I got to breathe. So once I exercise, I got to use my breath to bring that energy into focus so that I can be a learner. Because students' job, their job is to be a learner.